Maybe it's me. What it is, but we're live, so excited about that. I apologize for anybody who experienced any kind of delays, in getting who's trying to connect to this at the time. But good afternoon and welcome back. Okay, now I need to mute the audio for LinkedIn. All right, this initial challenges are technical difficulties. This solo performance can be hectic sometimes, even after you've done it so many times. Well, thank you for everyone who's sticking with me. Maybe I'll try to cut this part out of the beginning um, of the actual thing that goes live that we see, the replay. But without further ado, let's get started. I want to again thank everybody for being here. We started this conversation last week or yesterday, rather, when I'm doing this daily live thing. Because again, a lot of people wait till the new year before they start taking action towards having a good year. And I think that's late. If you're starting in the new year to put structure and infrastructure in place to ensure that your year is good, then you are behind schedule. The best time to start is now, in preparation for a good year next year. And for people who are explicitly, because here on this Workforce Ready platform, I talk about transitioning into careers in information technology. In fact, myself and my co-founder, who happens to be my wife, will be having a workshop on Saturday to share and go deeper into the concept of how to get started in careers in information technology. And so that's what I'm going to be exploring, the remaining part of the day. All right, so I want to get into today's conversation. Let's see. All right, so today I want to really talk through just how to accessing this, dealing with the misconceptions around age and skill, and I don't have time and I'm too busy. That's really what I want to talk through today. Um, breaking that myth around age and time. That's always an excuse that people have to why it's not working out for them, right? Why they can't make that transition into careers in information technology. It's around people. I have dealt with so many people, and they come and tell you, like, "Hey, you guys are young. This is for you. It's not for people like myself." Especially and if you're not an immigrant, still stay with me. But especially within our immigrant community, it's almost always like this is the young man's game. It's a young person's game. And it's not for me. My time is past. You guys go do what you do. I'd love to do it, but I don't think I'm going to have the opportunities. I've heard that so many times, and I'm here to burst that myth and say that is false, right? I've heard that so many times. People start with I'm too old to start over. I have zero time. I'm very busy. I can't commit to the time requirements. And this is real. It's true. Your time is limited, but so is everyone's time. So you're not wrong for feeling the way you do feel. And I want to make sure I'm communicating that your concerns are valid, but they shouldn't be what stops you, right? They shouldn't be what stops you. It's what we've done within our realm here at NSTAR Technologies is we've created this 8-week transformation hack, and it's going from mastering the tech skill, and then but leveraging your time effectively, right? It's not necessarily about how much time you invest, or how much time you are putting into something. It's about how to, what we call focus time, right? Leveraging, what you're already good at, leveraging your expertise, and then using that to basically fuel your transformation, fuel your growth, fuel your transition. And so my goal today is really getting you from that busy work to strategic tech professional realm without having to quit your job yet. right? We want to. I'm not one of those internet influencers who come in and say, "You fire your boss today. Why are you investing and building somebody else's own when you could be your own boss? Even as your own boss, you're not going to work by yourself. You're also going to hire people to help you build. So we're all interconnected. I'm not in that school of thought of like fire your boss. You're wasting your time working for somebody else. Um, but I do know that hey, if your goal is to get to that, you there's a process. Um, what I'm showing you is a career path to where you can have a quality life, do meaningful work, and yeah. So let's continue the conversation. So again, it's about whether you feel you're too busy or too old. Those are the two people I want to talk to today. And one key point I want to address as we like showing you the possibility is quality or quantity, right? That's one concept I want to really dig into. You don't. I always tell my students you have to put in time, a bunch of time, right, into this thing. But you don't have to. For somebody who doesn't have 4 hours a day to study, right? It's if you don't have that time, you don't have that time. Does that mean you should give up? No, right? Does it help to? And that's where people start thinking this is a young person's game. You have less things in your hand, you can afford to put in the time required. But for somebody who does not have 4 hours a day to study, who has kids, who has a job, who has responsibilities and obligations, it might not be feasible, right? And so this is where we do the 80-20 rule, right? Focus, on 20% of the skills that drive 80% of the results. What is taking up your time right now? Even within looking to learn a new skill, um, looking to make a career transition, it's about making the most of that, giving 80% of focus to that 20% that will change the game, right? Start looking at, what I call doing a time audit. This is an exercise I insist on doing every year for sure, but every quarter at least with myself. Find where the time is. Find the time, right? Look for time. Where am I using time? You know, where do like a time allocation of your day. Okay, between this time and this is breakfast time, this is commute to work. Like the standard daily cycle that you go through. Allocate the times, then begin to look for the unaccounted spaces, right? And that's where you begin to look to maybe plug in time to study or to for personal development. Okay, so find the time, right? Maybe it's during your commute when you're typically listening to the radio, when you're typically listening to maybe podcasts and stuff. Learning it can now be intentional, right? That commute, audit your time, your commute time to work, um, your lunch break. What are you doing during that time? How much of that time are you taking the whole hour? Can you borrow 20 minutes, 30 minutes to watch a model, to to learn something in that time and cut your break to maybe do 20, 25 minutes and use the remaining 35 minutes to learn something before you get back to work, right? It's find those transition windows and optimize them. What you'll find is 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 30 minutes there begins to add up to, oh, well, I've put in 2 hours in one day, right? I can actually skim 2 hours from different places without changing up what I'm doing. Okay, but you have to be very intentional and very disciplined about this. Okay, if this is going to work, you have to be very, strategic, very disciplined. It's about, again, it's about intentional work. As somebody who is busy, you shouldn't give up on your dreams of making a change in your career because of your schedule. The reason why you are even in this place in the first place, I'm saying that place word multiple times. The reason why you're here in the first place is because maybe you don't like the job as much. Maybe you feel like it's time for something else. Maybe it's taking up too much of your time and you don't have that work-life balance, and so you want to do more meaningful work. And so give if you continue to give energy to the excuse of I don't have time, nothing is going to change. If nothing changes, nothing will change. All right. So I'm trying to again, your playbook might be different from what I'm saying or what I'm sharing right now. You might not be commuting, maybe you're working from home and it's still hectic, right? And so you might need to find that those moments, those times in different places. What I'm asking you to do is do an audit and make, like, really look at your day and where the time goes, and find where the opportunities are to borrow some time, maybe make some adjustments to certain things, and infuse your personal development into that. Okay, so that's, time audits concept that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Uh, um, there's a difference between performing a task passively and being active. And for somebody who you might want to take that, one of the things we use for one of the tools we use for our students is, we prioritize just hands-on labs to speed up retention. So instead of just listening, instead of just uh, um, passively watching the video, maybe spending time to do in the short time you have, right? Retention will come from you actually doing, those failures, those things that break when you're trying to, those implementation moments become your learning moments, where you now, the things that you are doing, it's no longer abstract. Because if you're coming from a different space trying to get into tech, some of those things might be abstract, might be maybe not abstract, but foreign for you. And so the goal is to do it, right? Actively, you study something, find the opportunity to actually do some level of simulation so that it comes alive and it's real. I hope that makes sense. That's the goal. So that's the play for that. So move from passive learning to actively, actively learning, and then the next pillar I want to really dwell on in this short time that I have is the transferable skill audit, right? Look at what you're good at. For people who are saying, hey, at a certain age, what you have, your advantage is you've done things, you know things, you have a level of expertise that maybe the younger ones might not have. That's your unique advantage right there. A lot of the time people think, again, it's about the best professionals I know, the best people I know in this working in tech. It's not necessarily because they're the most technical. They are the ones who are able to, who have humanized the tech, who you can relate to, and they can still speak the tech, they can still do the things, but they are able to humanize it. They can lead meetings, they can communicate, they are proficient in their communication, in leadership, in empathy. You see those ones rise the fastest in organizations, because there's the humanity element of it. And so for somebody who is super organized, because of your background, it becomes your advantage transitioning into tech. For somebody who is super efficient, somebody who is a natural leader because of the expertise you've had in your non-tech career life, those become your superpower. Those become what skyrockets you above the rest. And so you you already have an advantage. Your background is your advantage. It is not your disadvantage. Uh, um, I like to have done this in previous videos, but you look at people who are nurses. We've had nurses who've come on to our programs to for our database programs, or our Scrum Master programs, for example. And one thing you notice is, because someone who's a nurse, someone who's a teacher, um, there's a level of care and concern that they have naturally, or they've, at least it's something they've built, that it's a muscle they've trained, that empathy. And it lends to you being, as a scrum master who has to navigate tough conversations, frustrated engineers, unrealistic expectations from business, all of those things. All of those things, right? Having that empathy, having that ability to meet people where they are, still put your foot down, because the teacher, that's what you do. You're going to validate and do all the things you do. However, we still have work to get done. You still have to do your homework. You still have to deliver. You still have to improve your grades. It's the same thing you're doing with engineers. It's the same thing you're doing with a business. It's managing expectations. It's communicating that clearly without making, without getting people to own um, delivering results. You see how that translates. That is, there are different ways we can begin to do this, industry mapping. But you have to look at it and say, okay, based on what I already do and have done, and this career path I'm looking to get into. Imagine somebody who is like an accountant who is used to working under high stress situations, who is super organized, who is good at doing, auditing records and looking at numbers and staring at tiny details. You will kill it as a database engineer, as a database administrator, right? Because in those production support sessions and meetings, when we're in war rooms, one, you're calm under pressure because it's not new to you, right? Now you're not missing details because, again, for us, details are everything, right? You're not missing any any details. You're not missing any maybe subtle mistakes in scripts before they are deployed to production. All of that, all of that, and so your experience becomes your advantage. Okay, so we can do this industry mapping, and that's an exercise I encourage you to do. Look at the skills you currently have, and then look at the realm in tech you're trying to get into, and see what translates. What are the soft skills you already have? What are the experiences you already have that will give you an edge? That are, let's not even say give you an edge, but that are applicable, that help you excel in this new field you're exploring. And so that's the one task, and that becomes something in your resume you can translate, right? Your language can begin to shift when you start talking to recruiters, when you start building out your resume, when you start putting together your cover letter. You can talk about those things, right? I managed a team of 5. I facilitated cross-functional team delivery. It might not be now you're using agile language to explain what you already do. Okay, so now it's about using the right vocabulary to explain what you're doing in your non-tech life. Okay, and that's where, as we begin to mentor you and teach you and take you through the process, you're learning the language, and you're using that language to you're able to translate the things you've done into that language and properly present yourself. And so you realize, hey, you don't have an experience advantage, you have a language barrier, right? Which is what we teach you. It's, and you have a language barrier, which by the time you're done, you will not have anymore. You'll be able to communicate the things you've done with in the right terms, in the right language, and that opens up a world of opportunities for you. All right. So that's something you have in your favor. And the other thing that you have going for you, is the maturity advantage. I'm telling you right now, just from somebody who's been doing this for the last 13 years, um, it is at a premium, right? The reason why companies hire career changers is because they want somebody who understands business logic, who understands emotional intelligence, who understands professional accountability. There's a level of those, again, non-technical components that are super powerful that businesses want, and are looking for. They need somebody who can take complex technical concepts and break it down into very regular English, into business logic that makes sense for the business. The C-level people, the business folks, don't care about any of the complex jargons that we're going to be throwing at them. They are looking at numbers, they are looking at profits and losses. How is the events going on in my database affecting why my customers cannot file claims, right? You're the one, they don't care about stored procedures, they don't care about views, they don't care about deadlocks. That is not what they want to hear. And a lot of traditional tech people are not able, they can speak the language of tech, but they don't understand how to translate that to business. And so someone who has been in the business realm, who has been in a different non-technical realm, might be able to is able to, when you now have good understanding of all of the tech, you can translate that a lot easier to the non-tech realm for folks in leadership, in business, in marketing, in communications, people who don't necessarily want to understand, all they want to pay attention to is they are part of the business. Because again, what we do cuts across. And so it's super important that you see that again as your advantage. You have that maturity advantage because you've seen things, and you can communicate those things. You're confident in meetings because that's what you've done, right? You're navigating certain kind of conversations and not, there are concepts that you're comfortable with. So I need you to start having that shift in your mindset, in your thought process. Stop apologizing for your age, right? What you have is reliability, and that's what you need to start selling. You have soft skills, and that's something people who are younger than you might not have, and they still lack. They're going to get that with experience, but you already have that experience. You already have that, and that's something you should never apologize for. You should talk about, you should sell, so that confidence shift, it's something I want you to have. Begin to stop telling me things like, man, it's for young people. It's not for people in my situation. I've worked with students who are in their 50s, and even older, who have gone on to become successful, have careers, um, in tech. It's very possible, right? It is totally possible. Stop telling me you're too busy. If you're too busy to do something, then nothing will change. If you're too busy to make a change, then nothing will change. So, what are you going to do about it? Is 2026 going to be the same as 2025? And this is a question. Again, it's a question you have to answer, and look at the mirror and have a genuine conversation. If nothing changes, nothing will change. Somebody said if nothing changes within you, nothing will change around you. And this is how you change things within you, is the investments you make in time, in learning, right? In resources that will make you better, that will shift your trajectory. It's super important that you start thinking about that. I know we're in this rest and reset mode. Um, it's important. Also important that we are thinking about, while I'm resting and resetting, what steps am I taking to ensure and safeguard 2026 to start off with momentum. All right. So on Saturday, again, check the description in this video. You'll see the link careeracceleratorlive.instartechnologies.com/registration. Go to the site and sign up for the Saturday session. Stella, who is the co-founder of Instant Technologies, and myself, we'll be doing a deep dive. It's our monthly workshop. It's our last one for the year, obviously, but we are going to be showing you, really taking a deep dive into this world of, you know, career in technology, how to transition, our framework to make you, ensure you get to attain success in your career. The goal is to ensure as many people as possible within our circle of influence can say I had a good year, in 2026. That's our goal. So go ahead right now, go and sign up for the workshop on Saturday. It's completely free. Go and do that right now, and it's going to be incredible. All right. Uh, um, it's going to be great. It's going to be very productive. Work is essential. The reason why I love uh, um, tech and working as a database engineer is, again, I get to do meaningful work, and I get to earn well. Pay is good, but beyond that, it is also about the work-life balance. It's about being able to show off my daughter's things, all my three daughters, and showing up for their programs in school when they have, and not, I'm not afraid of, I'm going to, what's going to happen at work or anything like that. Um, being able to have those moments and afford the little things that I need, right? Again, it's not going to, this is not a proposal to get you to millionaire status. That's, it might get you, it might become the foundation for that, but it's not the offer I'm making. It's, let's just get you to a good and stable career in tech, that pays you well, takes care of you and your family, gives you work-life balance where you don't have to do two, three jobs to make a decent living. All right. If this is something that resonates with you, then let's do it. Go ahead and register. I'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you all for who have joined me today. We'll continue tomorrow, and um, yeah, it's gonna be good. All right. So forward this to your friends, anybody who needs this. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, and share it, and go ahead and register for the workshop on Saturday. All right, till tomorrow. God bless you. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. I'm going to go through the comments, and I'll lead off with answering questions if there are any comment. If there are any questions, if there are none, then we'll jump into tomorrow's topic. I'm excited about continuing the conversation. All right, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow by God's grace.